One thing that is an absolute in our lives is time moves forward. No matter what we try or do, we can't stop growing older. Something people tend to do is reminisce about the good old days, typically childhoods or moments of our youth that hold a lot of meaning. For many, including myself, a lot of these memories revolve around games. Nostalgia is defined as a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past. Today, I'd like to go over my top 5 games I wish I could play again for the first time ever. What I mean by this is all prior memory of playthroughs, media, etc. are all completely wiped and I can experience those games fresh for the first time again. Before we dive in, please feel free to comment on your top 5 games you wish you could experience for the first time. Be as detailed as you like, I'll be reading all of them. Anyways, let's dive right in. Falling into the number 5 spot is none other than Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. If you watch my Twitch streams, you know how much I absolutely love The Thousand Year Door with a passion. I first played Thousand Year Door Christmas of 2004, and the gameplay and the story captivate my child brain. I love turn-based combat, and the Paper Mario series, yes, basic, really perfected the system for me to understand. To be able to experience the story, especially chapters 3 and 6 again with their twists and turns, man. That first time confronting Hooktail, a massive dragon getting cooked for realizing you should use the cricket badge, was such an accomplishment as a kid. Discovering Yoshi could hatch as different colors and going on game forums and whipping out a stopwatch to finally get a black Yoshi was awesome. Sliding into the number 4 slot, and might be surprising, is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Man. The history I had with this game. My first time playing this game was at a friend's house back in 2nd grade. Well, more so me watching him play, and like kids, we were stuck on the Deku Tree because basic puzzles and a child's mind do not mix well. OOT for me, even to this day, captivates me with its story, going from the present to the future while pulling out the Master Sword in the Temple of Time. Amazing. Being the first 3D Zelda game, and I start with the NES, the graphical difference was actually mind-blowing, and it's something that kids nowadays miss out on. I want to say the temple that had the biggest impact for me at least is a tie between the Forest Temple and the Shadow Temple. The Forest Temple is peak, and the Shadow Temple has such a great first time playthrough since it's basically a torture dungeon. Oh, I can't forget the reveal that Sheik is actually Zelda. OOT came before a time where the internet wasn't widely available and spoilers weren't thrown in your face, so the reveal really hits hard, and to be able to experience that again would be amazing. In the middle of the pack at number 3 is none other than Resident Evil 4. My first time playing RE4 was actually at my stepbrother's aunt's house, where I was just sucked into the game, even though I just did the intro a couple times since I was terrified of the game. When I eventually got it for myself on GameCube, which I still own to this day, I spent an entire Saturday just grinding through the game. Arriving at the castle, I took my GameCube to a friend's house where we combined forces to get all the way to the island, and being a regenerator for the first time, so intense. I think we were around 10 at the time, and the eerie build up to reveal the scariest RE monster will always be memorable. In my buddy's basement, we always had all the lights off when gaming, which is the best way to play the Resident Evil games, by the way, so it felt like you would look around the corner and see something, a shadowy figure, or hear a noise. Hell, even the intro section with the village swarming Leon and the chainsaw coming out is regarded as one of the great video game openings. The story, the revolutionary behind the short gameplay, the characters, the deaths all combined into what I consider one of the greatest games ever made. If you haven't played this game, please check out the original and then dive into the remake. Both are gems. In the runner-up spot, Pokemon Silver. If it isn't obvious by my name, I'm a Gen 2er through and through. After playing through Red when I was just about 4 years old, the hype for the next gen was immeasurable. Pokemon Mania back in the day was probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience, from going to Burger King to getting toys and the gold-plated card things in the Pokeballs, to seeing the Pokemon movie and a Dawn fan showing up as a kid wondering, whoa, what the hell is that Pokemon? The hype for Gen 2 was real. Christmas of 2000, and I'll never forget it, I opened up all my gifts, some clothes and toys, candy, you know, the usual stuff. But my final gift, I opened it like a wild animal. Boom. Pokemon Silver staring me in the face. Going into Silver, I didn't know what to expect, and hearing New Barktown for the first time, neurons in my brain were firing uncontrollably. If Gen 2 is known for something, I'd say it has to be its music, and in my opinion when the show and movies and the TCG peaked. The Johto region is just so full of life and character, and when you complete the game, you can go back to Kanto and do the first 8 gym leaders ever again. Being able to access Kanto even as a kid was the coolest feeling, and I'm sad Pokemon doesn't do this with regions anymore. It was awesome seeing how Kanto had changed since the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow. After completing Kanto and gathering 16 badges, discovering Mount Silver was a curious thing. What could this be? Why are there Pokemon here that are so strong? Oh look, Larvitar. At the top, none other than Red, the character you play as in the Gen 1 games, is waiting to do battle. You can't replicate something like this because since it happened before, we as people now have it in the back of our head expecting something like this to potentially happen again. To be able to go back and play through Silver again for the first time, especially with how bad Pokemon is now, man, take me back. Taking the number 1 spot, a game that changed my life forever, and I mean that very literally, Halo 3. If you knew me in high school, you knew this would be number 1, and if you're watching you knew me in high school, hello. When you think of the peak of online gaming, 2007 through 2012, for me at least, was it. Halo 3 came out when I was in middle school, and having loved Halo CE and 2, I had begged my mom for an Xbox 360. If anyone remembers G4 TV, which was an awesome channel by the way, typically when a big game was coming out, they would do coverage leading up to the midnight release. I binge shows like X-Play and Attack of the Show because they would show early gameplay footage and actually go on site to midnight releases, which was super awesome. Halo 3 also has one of the greatest commercials ever in the Believe trailer. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It will change your life. When the day finally arrived and I got my copy of Halo 3, I played through the entire campaign in one day, and man, the graphical improvement from Halo 2 to Halo 3 was astonishing, and even today, I firmly believe Halo 3 looks amazing. Campaign aside, loading up the online multiplayer for the first time and hopping into Lone Wolves and being able to trash talk before the match, you can't replicate that. Like most teens, I joined the Halo clan with my buddy who unfortunately passed away many years ago, who actually introduced me to the Halo series, and we would make bases and forge on Foundry of course and hold meetings, you know, the usual clan activities in Halo. To be able to go back and experience all the best parts of Halo 3 for the first time ever, I think I would appreciate it way more. Something we tend to do is we don't realize how great something truly is until it's gone. Those years, Halo 3 was at the top, was like a pocket of perfection to me. Xbox Live was at its peak, no responsibilities except grade school and homework, MLG, G4 TV, and not a care in the world. I always feel kinda bad for people that did not get to experience this game at its peak. I have friends that absolutely hate Halo because of what it is today. But when you bring up Halo 3, you know, Halo 2, even Reach, they can't lie and say it was a bad experience. Halo 3, to me, is my most wanted game to play for the first time ever. Side note, I just realized I am recording this on Halo 3's 17th anniversary, September 25th, 2024, so Halo 3, let's get an anniversary game like Halo 2, hop on it. Well, that's my top 5 games I wish I could play for the first time again. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, feel free to drop your top 5 in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like and even a sub. It helps the channel a ton. I may be doing more games in the future, we'll see. But anyways, thanks for watching.